Hey pillars, and welcome back to a brand new review. We're doing a 1-year review on my Chinese group set, which is the WheelTop over there. Came for the view. We're in Greece, southern Greece, so I'm gonna flip the camera around, give you my unfiltered raw opinions. WheelTop is not seeing this video before I put it out, so it's all my raw opinions. Quick, it's not a super detailed video. I have one. This is more of just everyday practical opinion. 1 year. I'll put up how many kilometers I've ridden since I've had this group set. So in terms of honest opinions, I think I've ridden WheelTop a lot. I have some realistic things that are some cons, but obviously a lot of pros. That's why I'm making this follow-up video. So let's jump into it. I'm gonna flip the camera around and show you the group set after 1 year. So we're taking a look at the TCR. This is a 2021, or actually 2022 TCR Advanced 2 with a lot of updates, rim brakes. So the reason why I got this group set in the first place was because WheelTop reached out. I was rocking mechanical 105 with Ultegra crank power meter. So I was like, hey, you know what? Sure, I'll test it out. We had Outwoo and other Chinese group sets. Weren't a big fan of it from all the reviews I saw online. So when WheelTop came out, I was like, you know what? I have nothing to lose, because I was in a weird spot of maybe wanting to replace my frame, maybe getting an SL8. I wasn't too sure. So I was gonna buy a new, rim brake, rim brake GI2 group set. So I was like, you know what? If this is gonna be, the bike and the group set that I use until I get a new bike and a new bike build, then I'm fine with that. So this is their electronic group set. It's rim brakes. So I'm gonna go through the whole group set, but basically this retails for around, I think, $600 or $700. I know sometimes you find it on sale. If it's on AliExpress on sale, you can get it sometimes for $500, depending on coupons and stuff. Don't quote me on that. So it's a really good budget group set. Obviously, it doesn't come with the cranks. So it's just the rear derailleur, front derailleur, and the shifters, and it's wireless. So it has no batteries. I installed it all myself. So if you're not that mechanically savvy, then you don't need to worry. So I just want to give more opinions really quick and take a look at this view. Like, Greece is just beautiful, southern Europe. So the biggest thing about this group set is the price. And off the top, for full transparency, I've had one follower of mine said they had some problems with their shifter. They contacted WheelTop, and WheelTop has been going back and forth with them, sending them new shifters. So WheelTop support is really good, and I'm gonna flip the camera around and share my opinion on that. Now, one thing when it comes to Chinese, companies, group sets, products, it's not that you want to be a test. Like, it's not, you're paying full price. You don't want to be a beta tester. But one thing that I want to say that people sometimes forget is I have like 10 years in the cycling industry, and when I used to work at bike shops, even Shimano, they would have conflicts where, someone would bring in their rear derailleur, it died, and they wouldn't warranty it. So there's a lot of technicalities, even with the big brands, the big Western brands. So it's never going to be perfect. The biggest caveat with Chinese group sets or even Chinese parts is sometimes if something happens, you won't have access if you're on vacation, if you're traveling, if you're racing. So, there's pros and cons, and that's why the price reflects the cons, So for me and the experience I've had with WheelTop, support has been good. The biggest thing that everyone has been saying, and it hasn't changed, which is kind of disappointing after 1 year, the app still has lots of improvement. It's very unintuitive. Granted, if you're somewhat tech savvy, you can get it, but for the average rider, it might be a little bit confusing. So they could definitely improve that. But other than that, it's still, for the price, for what you're getting in the package, obviously it's a very good bang for your buck. And especially because other Chinese group sets like Outwoo couldn't even compete, in the sense of they were having lots of problems, and even influencers that were getting that and testing couldn't even use it. So I've had this and I've had no problem so far. So jumping back, I'm just going to quickly go over the bike. So we have the shifters here. So the cool thing with the shifters is they upgraded the rubber. So the rubber here was very firm, and when you had to bleed it on the disc brake versions, it was hard to pull back. So the new one, I have a new WheelTop group set for my new bike build that's going to be disc brakes. They put more softer hoods, so it's good that they took rider feedback. And here, the other thing too, for full transparency, is that the only thing that really annoys me is the rattling. Granted, I ride with music, so the rattle isn't that bad, and I'm hoping that they fixed it maybe on the new group set, the new iterations. But yeah, the rattle here is bad. So this one makes it harder, this one easier gear, so it's 2 clicks, and it has nice button, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it has texture, so you know which one. And then obviously brakes, this is mechanical, and then here on this one you have just one, and this is for the front derailleur. So same thing, firm here, and I wasn't that much of not a fan. It took some getting used to because I like it a little bit softer, but the new ones are softer. So yet again, WheelTop is looking and listening to their rider feedback. Now taking a look at the front derailleur, I've had no problems with drop chains. I have a chain catcher from K-Edge, but in terms of the shifting, you know, sometimes under load it's not gonna be the fastest. Now the cool thing with WheelTop is that they have race mode and they have casual mode. So race mode drains the battery a little bit quicker, but for everyday riding I haven't had a problem. And same thing with the rear derailleur, you know, stays good. You can customize each single cog. So that's the other thing with the WheelTop that's really cool, is that a lot of customizability. So it's not just preset. If you have different chain rings, you have, you know, different cassettes, you know, third-party cassettes, it's a lot of customizability. You're allowed to go all the way up to, I think it's 13 or 14 speed. So if you have 11 speed, 12 speed, and then in the future, so it's forward compatible and backwards compatible. And the batteries get charged on the rear derailleur, and the front there's no external batteries, which is really cool. That view is just crazy still. So as I was mentioning, the biggest thing with WheelTop as well is the customizability. I'm going to be building up my new bike build, which is a disc brake bike with a lightweight cassette, which is an 1134, and it's really cool how you can customize it. Each cog can be indexed independently, so where on Shimano or SRAM they can't have it already set, you can really customize it and make sure the shifting is very, very accurate. So yet again, the app, if it was a little bit more intuitive, would make it easier for the average cyclist to use it. If you're willing to fiddle around with it and get it going, then it definitely shifts really well. And that's why I want to mention this part. I'll put it up on screen as well. I went to the Giro d'Italia this year, which was epic, in Albania, and I rode with a pro team, Anton. They were doing some, you know, efforts shaking out the legs on the highway, and I was rocking my WheelTop Groupset. Came out right out of the bike box, like I was literally tightening screws, and then fully went out and didn't get dropped. Shifted perfectly under load into the big chain ring, small chain ring, rear cassette. So, you know, hopefully I put the video on screen. So for me, for all the riding I've been doing in the last year, I haven't had a problem. Now, if I was racing continental level, I said in my last video, I think you could get away with it, especially if you're self-supported. Just put it into race mode, make sure that you test out to make sure, depending on how long the race is, that you're not gonna run out of battery in terms of how much it uses, but I don't think so. Like, the battery on that lasts so long. Granted, I use it in casual mode, but the biggest thing is that if I was racing, there is a small chance, if every second mattered, every single attack mattered, if I was trying to get into brakes, you know, would I want, you know, Shimano to have a little bit crispier shifts under load and stuff? Potentially. Like, I think there is a high chance. But then again, I keep telling people, if you're doing a lot of crit racing in the States or North America, or even like in Belgium, like any circuit racing, the fact that the Groupset is so cheap, if you crash, not a big deal to replace the Grupo, right? I know a lot of racers are using 105 Di2 for that reason, but even then, if you can find this on sale, you know, you can have a really good race experience. So that's why I'm going to be building it up for my new bike build. Granted, you know, full transparency as well, Magine is going to be coming out soon, hopefully next year, with their electronic group set. So a lot of Chinese brands are coming out with more options, which is great. It creates more competition, creates more features for other brands like Shimano, SRAM to compete with. So I'm super excited how developed the industry is getting in terms of options. But yeah, for me and for the riding that I do, I'm trying to ramp up from, like, right now I'm doing about 10 hours, granted a lot of other stuff behind the scenes, not cycling related. So I'm going to try to slowly ramp up to 15 hours, 20 hours, hopefully very soon. Lots more climbing. So that's why when this new bike build gets done, I can put the disc version of WheelTop through its paces and really give a more detailed. But after 1 year, all the kilometers I've ridden, I have not had one mechanical problem with WheelTop, which is pretty astounding if I'm being honest. Like, no problem. I don't want to jinx it, like the one follower that said that they were having problems with their shifter. So I personally, full transparent, haven't had any problems with my group set. You know, the one thing I find super important with group sets is definitely the front derailleur. So the front derailleur is super important because if you have mountains, like we have here in beautiful Greece, then, you know, 7%, 8%, you want to be able to shift under load. You want the rear cassette to be able to go up and down. And I haven't had any problems. And I've done a lot of climbing. This is the first time I've able to take advantage of my shape, because in Turkey it wasn't that fit. So granted, I still rode, but I'm just saying, like, now it's a lot easier for me to ride mountains and get those tests in. So for me, I would say overall, if the app wasn't the way it is, I would say, you know, easily an 8.5 Grupo compared to, let's say, Shimano Ultegra. But with the app, I would say like an 8.1, 8.2 out of 10. So who would I suggest the WheelTop Groupset for? I would say for someone that's getting into racing, maybe you pick up, you know, a secondhand rim brake bike like this, or you get one on sale from a bike shop. You know, it's kind of getting, you know, like vintage at this point. You know, so if you pick up yourself a mechanical, you know, race bike that you want to upgrade, and you want electronic shifting, and you want a pretty good system that's pretty well tested, like I would say I've tested it very, very good, riding it every single day, like I don't have another group set, then definitely I would suggest picking it up. If you want to help out the channel, there is a link in the description where you can purchase one, and it helps out me making content like this. But if not, it doesn't matter. But other than that, for me, WheelTop right now, you know, is a really good group set. That's why I'm going to be putting it on my new bike build. But yet again, I'm going to still be testing other group sets in the future as well and compare them between each other. And that's the whole thing. Competition is a good thing in cycling. Chinese companies making sure that they're listening to the feedback is a good thing too, right? Because some brands get so big, they forget that. I'll say this right now too, and this is like a full transparency thing. For me, the biggest thing that I never understood was with Shimano, I was working at the bike shop, and it was when 10 speed went to 11 speed, and I was like, why can't they just move? Like, why can't they just allow you to move it? And that's when I heard that people were like reprogramming rear cassettes. Obviously very, very complicated, and it was actually able to adjust. That's why this WheelTop and most Chinese group sets are able to go 13, 14 speed, because there is enough space on the rear derailleur to do that. So Shimano basically was making you have a life cycle and forcing you to upgrade, which, you know, capitalism, but like that's kind of, I don't know, when you're not always the best with warranty and stuff like that, that's crazy. So for me, I just like having the cycling community to have options for riding. Racers don't have to stress too much if they crash. The rear derailleur is not that expensive to replace. So cycling has to become more accessible to everyone. And I think WheelTop is a great first step for changing and forcing the industry either to give more options or to have different options for different, you know, budgets and different riders and what they can afford. So more options is always good. 1 year of WheelTop, I would say 8.1, 8.2. I think the app really does decrease the user experience, but in terms of on the road, testing it every day, almost doing 2 hours, I haven't had any problems. And if you're thinking, yet again, this is going to be a Shimano 1-for-1 head-to-head group set, you're going to be mistaken, unfortunately, because it isn't. But for riding with pros, riding with fast group rides, like basically if I could race, it's a little complicated getting to racing here, but for me, so, you know, I would love to be able to say, you know, in races I haven't had problems, but I do have high confidence that this would be fine. Another thing I want to foreshadow is they have a gravel group set that I would love to test, and I do have a 1x setup that I want to test. The only thing that is unfortunate is that the shifters for their disc brakes are not cross compatible with their gravel, so you have to have 2 different group sets. You can't just keep the shifters on and put the rear derailleur that allows you to do a bigger cassette. You have to have the disc road one, so it's not interchangeable like SRAM, where you can just keep the shifters and connect an Eagle rear derailleur that allows you to run the bigger cassette. So that's a little unfortunate. I don't know if that's a patent thing. Other than that, I do hope you guys appreciated this quick 1 year overview. More detailed videos are going to be coming. I just want to share my opinion. I thought, hey, you know what? Been riding it basically for a year now. I want to share my opinion because the last video got a lot of attention. So if you guys did enjoy it, like this video to show me that you want more content regarding the group set. New bike build is incoming as well. And until the next one, keep on pedaling.